Hi Mark, thank you for joining me today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for asking me.
Throughout the course of your long and established career, you've performed in many musicals. Could you tell us about some of them?
They started really in 2003 when I was lucky enough to be cast in Red Riding Hood at the Theatre Royal Stratford East. It was the first time they'd ever employed a disabled actor in their history, which is really exciting. And I played Father Hood in that. And then that was followed in 2004, because the show, 2003, it went on from 2003 into 2004, Red Riding Hood. And then later in 2004, I did the Threepenny Opera at the Festival Theatre in Edinburgh.
In this production, you represented the right side of the law when you took on the role of Tiger Brown, the Chief of Police.
And then it toured all over Scotland. And then I went and did some serious stuff and came back to musicals again in 2006, where I was in a new musical produced at the Manchester Royal Exchange, and it was called Heels on Wheels. It was a dark comedy about drag queens in wheelchairs, which was really funny, and it toured all over the country. And so there's been a big gap that brings us right up to date in 2021, and now I've just completed The Sound of Music.
So what made you want to audition for The Sound of Music?
Mainly because of the current climate that we've just come out of, or we are coming out of, and there was no live theatre being produced. Obviously everything was shot and everything was quiet, and although I'd done filming and recording on radio and so on to keep myself busy during these 18 months, 2 years, which I'm very fortunate to be able to have done, there's nothing like live theatre. And when I heard about the company, because I was told for medical reasons to be home near the family, rather than stay in central London for safety, I started looking around locally for something to do. And when I found out there was a production going to happen in the Cotswolds, I came along and auditioned for it in April and started rehearsals in June.
What was the rehearsal process like?
First of all, I'd never worked outside before, ever. You know, in 37 years, this is the first production I'd ever done outside. And I think, you know, until you're actually there in the middle of a field, it's quite difficult to imagine how it's going to happen. And I remember going to the first rehearsal I had there thinking, God, how on earth are they going to transform this space? And really becoming very aware that you really have to rely on your vocal technique and your ability to project and your ability to be heard very, very clearly in such a massive open space. Which explains why I am here. Having had no answer from our telegram, the High Command has sent me in person.
Were there any difficulties as a disabled actor working outside?
Mainly the access to get on and off stage. And I was really lucky to be working with a lovely man called Jamie, who played Herzella, who was a rock really, and supported me and helped me both physically and practically getting on and off stage, and it made it look effortless because Jamie was big and strong and could handle it perfectly. I found it quite difficult not to be able to move because I had to be moved into position because of the position of the ground and the uncertainty of the ground. So I couldn't physically move myself as I would normally in a performance. That was quite frustrating. But once I kind of got over that, it worked very well.
Do you feel that having a disability added to your characterisation, or did it take something away?
I think if you look at it literally, during that horrible period of history, there's a famous play called The First to Go, and that was really referencing disabled people were the first people to be removed from society once the Nazis took over anywhere. So in reality, I think I would never be there. But from a artistic point of view, it was a joy to play a baddie and to be booed on a regular basis, because I very rarely get cast as a baddie, so it's very nice.
Culture.
Friday night. This is Wednesday. It might be possible you could report to Bravenhaven on Monday.
Admiral! May I?
Your record in the war is very well remembered by us, Captain.
I'm glad to hear you say that, sir.
Let's get to the point.
If you don't mind, in our Navy, we hold you in very high regard, which explains why I am here. Having had no answer from our telegram, the High Command sent me in person.
Very flattering, Admiral, but I've had no time to consider...
I am here to present you with your commission.
I'm deeply conscious of the honour, sir, but...
Your orders are to report immediately to the naval base at Bremenhaven.
How did you find the audience reacted to your portrayal of the character?
At first, I thought, are they going to accept it? Are they going to see past my disability? And then I realised that actually, no, they've really got into the spirit of the play and they're really behind it. What was lovely was they had all this singing and dancing and happiness, and it was all very nice. And all of a sudden I came along and it became very, very serious very quickly. And they were really focused on the baddies, which was great.
So quite the experience. And lastly, can you tell us what's happening next for you?
I'm very lucky to be able to say that I recorded an audio play during the rehearsal process of The Sound of Music, because I wasn't needed that many times during rehearsals. So, and it's a complete contrast. I'm playing an outrageously over-the-top camp ballet teacher called Mr. Winters for a new drama based on a young disabled woman's life called Ruptured Duck, and it's being put together as part of the Watford Online Arts Festival, which comes out at the end of August.
Perfect. We look forward to listening to it.
Thank you.